why I'm super excited to be able to talk to you is that you started where I started, right? With a one
My
man show,
garage at
right?
home.
Yeah, yeah, just like I did. And so you had to learn the hard way. So walk me through a little bit of your history, how you founded your original company, why you got started.
Yeah, so I mean, start from the beginning. I've always been real environmentally conscious, and I was in the military, of course, and
Yep.
it really,
Air Force, right?
yes, sir, yep, and it really
Nice.
opened my mind. Yeah, it really opened my eyes after being in a third world country, showing what the effects of not recycling does to the environment. And I think Americans are very spoiled, and
Yeah.
we lack the I don't even know, like the care, I guess you could say, to even want to do a thing, because we have so much land, right? So we don't see the effects of what everything
Mm,
does in the
right.
environment. So that, to me,
Right.
that really opened my eyes a bit, and I'm thankful for those experiences and whatnot of being overseas. Then I started a recycling program for our aircraft maintenance hangars. At the time, steel and scrap metal was a lot higher than it is right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
The good old
so I was like,
days.
man, there's some good money in this. So I started doing it on the side, and I started my garage. I had an old Jeep Patriot. I got one of those old wheelchair trailer things, like the hatchbacks that are in the back, haul one or two
Nice.
appliances at a time, and just went off from there. So I did pretty well with acquiring different local clients, whether it been auto body shops to IT shops to everyday consumers from their
Hmm.
houses. I would also pick up. I started off from there. Had a few part-time employees up there help me grow it. Did that for a year or two when I was stationed up in Nebraska. That's where I was at whenever I
Hmm.
came back from overseas. I closed up shop up there because I got my separation orders, to leave the military pretty abruptly, unfortunately, just due to the how fast you got to leave. You have a set
Yeah.
time frame to get out, so I had to close up shop and then moved down here back to St. Louis area. I started in my garage there too, and
Right.
then did the same. Since I already had a little bit of experience with it, but I knew this would be like my long term home, so I didn't have a time
Hmm.
frame. So
Oh,
I just
nice.
started
Yeah.
pushing and growing, and ended up having some neighbors complain about me. So I had to start looking for some commercial property. So
Hmm.
I finally found this commercial property in Herculaneum, Missouri. Bought the property and started growing the business from there, and had some more employees, and yeah, it just took off, man. All
Nice.
success isn't that difficult; it just takes hard work. A lot of
Right.
people think it's luck, and really not. You have to
No. No.
you gotta put in the work. You don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You just have to outwork everyone in the room.
I mean,
So,
clearly, look at us. I mean,
yep,
we're doing all right. How old were you when you started?
early 20s. It was
Okay.
gosh, 2017 ish. I've always been real entrepreneurial based. I've always done different online type
Hmm.
businesses growing up and just different things. So I had some skill and knowledge of how to grow online business and market and do different things
Hmm.
of that aspect.
Let me go back a little bit as far as when you were in the first kind of hangar. You said military hangar. Tell me more about that aha moment that you had when you realized that there was good money in this, and walk me through like your discovery process there.
Yeah, so I mean, really, it was just I utilized this local scrapyard. They were called Lakeside Auto Recyclers. They were on the Iowa side of the Nebraska, or right by the
Hmm.
Nebraska border in Iowa. Honestly, it was just the first paycheck from it. I was like, holy cow,
Right.
And honestly, just the fulfillment from it too. I love doing this stuff because it feels good,
Hmm.
especially having kids. I personally feel like I'm making the world a better place because
Yeah.
right now EPA says only 18% of e-waste is recycled. So that means all this volume we're seeing is only 18%. There's another
Right.
82% there that hasn't
Right.
been touched.
Right. The market cap is really small right now.
No pun
Yeah.
intended. It's a gold rush. Everyone's trying to hop into this industry right now. Like even a lot of normal scrap yards are starting e-waste
Hmm.
programs and things like that. It's like, oh crap, we've been missing out a lot of revenue here.
Sure.
But yeah, no, that was my biggest aha moment though. Just like, wow, you don't really pay attention to the weights, like the weight of the material to after it's done. Once you see your settlement reports and like, holy cow, that was
Hmm.
5,000 pounds or whatever it was. Like, damn, that's awesome.
Right.
And then once you get that first check, a few $1,000s, you're like, holy cow, that was easy. Like people want to get rid of their stuff so bad they're willing to give you away for free, or sometimes
There
they'll even
are.
pay you for it. So it's like,
It's a
it's
pretty
a
good business model.
oh,
No.
100%. It's like they want rid of it
Yeah.
so bad they'll pay you to get rid of their stuff. That's the amazing part.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it everywhere. That's why it's simple, I guess, to get a lot of volume of material through the door because it's literally everywhere. Every business you can think of,
Hmm.
every household,
Yep.
everywhere has electronics.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a couple stats kind of bouncing around, but it's like average household has like 9 TVs or something like that.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
believe it.
we had two today come in. I was like, wow, and they're
I
great,
pay
great shape.
attention to that.
but they're coming back. Like the resale value is coming back because of retro gaming. I think is just
Right.
so we'll flip these easily. We used to charge $20 per TV. Tube
Mhm.
TV came in. We don't charge anymore just because the market's so hot for CRTs right now. As far as sourcing material, when you were kind of just getting started, how did you
Yeah.
start to really get volume going?
I like to say I have a knack for social media. I would run ads on Facebook. I made, a business Facebook page. In any market, in my opinion, you have to have social media nowadays. Social media was my biggest thing. I joined different buy sell trade groups. That was the easiest way to get a small amount of volume. I've even ran like radio ads.
Oh well, old school.
At least it worked for me. I haven't done it since, just because it doesn't work for my current model now, I guess. But back when I was just doing normal scrapping out of my pickup truck, I got on Vistaprint and ran like the direct mail. I printed some flyers, and had it
Wow.
direct mail
Okay.
to like a certain zip code, and instantly the first pickup paid for that just then and there. They had a ton of metal, everything. So
Nice. So
that was a
these are
real
residents or these are businesses?
that was residence at the time. Yeah.
So when you first got started, what was your favorite thing to get in when you're sourcing? What did you get giddy about when you saw?
Well, when I first started, I actually focused mainly on scrap metal. I didn't. It took me
Hmm.
a couple years till I really learned about e-waste. It makes me sick to my stomach knowing all the computers I threw in the steel shred. 'Cause I didn't
Oh
know at the
no.
time.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Overall, like e-waste is still an infant industry. So a lot of
Hmm.
people still don't know about it. In the beginning, I would like obviously electric motors, any heavy types of aluminum, like aluminum wheels from auto bodies,
Hmm.
at least on the scrap side, anything non-ferrous. I tried to focus
Right.
only on the
Right.
non-ferrous if possible. But then on the e-waste side, and nowadays, and even back then, once I got into the e-waste, obviously you want laptops, desktops, servers, and switches are the real money makers in the e-waste.
Hmm.
But then electric motors, anything non-ferrous for on the
Sure.
scrap metal side. I've had a lot of hard lessons in this industry. Ultimately, and this goes to any business you're in, if any industry, you don't want to take on every job, and you don't want every person as your client. I would assess, okay, how long is this job going to take? I would
Hmm.
normally require photos of the pickup, or at least a
Hmm.
valid description. I'm not just going to say, oh, you got metal. Okay, I'll come. I need to know,
Right.
exactly. So there's been some jobs I've learned a hard way. Sometimes it's more of a hassle than
Sure.
what it's worth.
And when you said sometimes it's more of a hassle than it's worth, go ahead and paint a picture of what that hassle client looks like.
Oh man. So you'll just have some people with like sometimes stuff, won't be prepared for you. So I would always ask, hey, can you have it, prep for me ready upstairs?
Hmm.
Because once you start entering their property, then it becomes liability issues and
Yep.
everything else. You want to focus
Yeah.
on any of the positive type items. Let's say like an item that's like mainly wood with a tiny amount of scrap metal on it, stuff like that,
Hmm.
that may be more of a negative value type item. They might have a lot of material, but the material itself might not be very valuable. So you don't want to be putting in all this labor to get a whole truckload or a trailer of junk is still junk. You still want to
Yeah. Better
try to
suited for a
focus on the
junk company.
right. Sometimes they'll have a lot of junk stuff, or there's too much labor involved to make it worth it.
Mm,
And then that's where you have to come into pricing of labor costs and things like that. So that was the biggest
right.
thing on whether the client on ones that you don't want to deal with, or if the metal isn't really clean enough, or it's too junky of stuff that's not really valuable, or the amount of labor it takes.
So the lesson there is to kind of ask more informed questions up front, right?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it's a balance with sales, right? Like you want to make it easy for them to say yes, and like
Hmm.
once they say yes, in sales, you're supposed to stop talking. Like that's the thing. But in this case, they may say yes, but then you need more clarity, right?
I'm sure you hear it too. It's like, oh yeah, we got a lot of metal, or a lot,
Hmm.
bring a trailer, and then you come and it's only two appliances. So I was like, well, crap, that could have fit in my pickup truck, right? Now
Right.
I waste all
Right.
this time, labor, extra fuel on bringing my trailer. So that's where getting specific information is very
Hmm.
important. So you know exactly what tools you need to bring, what equipment, just where it is, and what the overall cost will be for doing that job. You'll even have a great client that overall, yeah, they might make you, I'm just throwing a
Hmm.
number out, 20 grand a year, but then
Yeah.
every once in a while they'll give you a load of junk. But
Yep.
that's just part of it,
Yep.
because you want to be as good
Um,
of a partner as possible.
Yeah, you're not going to say no. And we have a client that gives us amazing stuff, 3 or 4 times a year. But 2 times ago when we picked up, it was all computer shells. Like it was just shells, and steel,
Right.
and
Like, where'd all it
we
go?
filled a van of it. Yeah, whatever. We came out there and we got it because we get good stuff from them regularly.
Sometimes you got to take the bad with the good.